Group number one, this is going to be a message. What were you protected from? This is a collaboration with my dear friend, Queen NightShade. So I'm going to have her video, her channel linked. You can check out her video for additional messages and insight on this topic. Group number one, if you've selected wisdom and play, our intuition knows more than you do. These are going to be your messages. There is a repeating theme in your cards and in your music centered around the eyes, the light of the eyes, the color of the eyes, and blindness, not wanting to walk away from a person, a community, a situation, and having that could have had resulted in some kind of blindness, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, okay? Not being able to see the world clearly, not having the world see you clearly. This is something that you were being shielded from. So I want to show you a picture of your music playlist so that you can look up these songs, watch the music videos for additional oracle messages if you'd like. Hit shuffle on the attached link if you want to see which one applies to you most. But those are your musical messages as well. So taking another look at your cards, it says, wisdom and play, or intuition knows more than we do. I feel as though you could be somebody who was born into a family, or you've had a lot of people around you. I heard for some of you this was a church around you that may have manipulated your vision and your belief system in some way. And so you're being protected from that through confirmations, through, yeah, I think confirmation was actually in your guys' cards here. Shooting star confirmation came out with knowledge book here. So you're somebody who could be praying to the divine, asking God certain questions and getting immediate answers. You could be somebody, I'm picking up on like a paranormal investigator that's interacting with intelligent spirits. So you are getting actual answers that are undeniable confirmation. And so this has really strengthened your faith, and this has protected you from a lot of trickery, deception, or manipulation around you, whether it be in the physical or in the spirit. It says you'll turn a blind eye to avoid uncomfortable truths and experiences. Do you turn a blind eye because it stems from a fear of confrontation? And these energies that you're confronting, they don't look like the most friendly, healthy, or fun energies to confront, right? With the creature here, it says this love can't be explained. And so you could be tied to, I don't know, certain actual toxic situations that are love to you, right? Like it's something that you've poured into, or maybe you were born into this situation and you've never known anything else outside of this. And so you had to make this decision to walk away, right? To choose something else, a different kind of cycle or pattern, to leave these generational wounds, unhealed trauma, or emotional baggage passed down through the family lineage, affecting behavior and life choices. And I'm thinking of that song in your playlist called Trauma, where he gets like knocked out just by standing there, just by documenting, right? Like what's occurring. And it could be just the fact that your presence is documenting in a spiritual sense. Your eyes are witnessing certain karmic occurrences taking place, and that could be why you've gathered some of this karmic, what's the word I'm looking for? You got like friendly fire, you got side effects of just being there. Whiplash, backlash, that's the word I was looking for. This karmic backlash just from being associated with this bloodline or this group or this person. So this is something that you're finally being protected from. It says, trick or treat, here they come, will you open the door? So you may have actually chosen to walk away from a certain group, and this could be centered around what you were able to see in their eyes or what you weren't able to see in their eyes, or even your eyes. It could be that you would look in the mirror and you would not recognize yourself, or the light in your eyes was void. It was starting to disappear. That spark, right? There was a Bible verse that really stood out to me as significant for you guys. Matthew 6:22. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So there's something here about the friends around you, the connections around you, really pulling that inner light out of you. And it could come from guidance or twisted information that they were sending you, and that's why you have this gift and this ability to get this instant confirmation and knowledge when you call upon it. Yeah, you guys also had scroll energy showed up as well. And it says hidden knowledge, important events, revelation, powerful truths, the past resurfacing, deeper exploration, and ancestral wisdom. It could be that you were put in certain situations and experiences just to gather this information for future events. Jumping timelines, so to speak, to be able to go back and gather this information from this experience and have confidence in yourself that what you're seeing is the full truth, because of this confirmation that you had received. I feel that you were being protected from this wandering energy. You had a lot of confusion showing up, lack of clarity, all right? Binding ritual of confusion, wandering. There is a lot of that showing up, this manipulation of twisting your magic, right? Spell, intention, energy. Not all eyes watching you are physical. I have to take a breath. Not all eyes watching you are physical, and not all hands touching you have form. That kind of like took my breath away a little bit. This energy moves in silence, woven into spells and the mutterings of unseen intentions. Whether a blessing, a burden, magic sent is magic returned. For the energy obeys no master but balance. The lesson can be understanding of universal law, learning of your true power, and activation of your awareness in the unseen. Yeah, so for some of you, like I said, this could have been even like some kind of spiritual attack. We have spiritualist false prophets here. They could have seen something in you that you weren't able to see in yourself in some of your younger years, perhaps, and they could have put some kind of spell work or worked on your third eye in some way, tried to harvest off of your magic in some way, harvest parts of your soul in some way. But you were being protected by having those missing pieces returned to you, having your foresight be able to see through the greatest darkness, right? That Bible scripture said, how great is that darkness? You were able to pierce through that the greatest of darkness, and to be able to retrieve not only those missing parts of your soul, or those fragmented pieces of you, but also to find those pieces of truth that were hidden, right? Do you notice how this person, she's putting on the armor? It could be the armor of God. That could be significant here, but it says radical honesty. To believe in the facade is to suffocate in the armor of alienation, self-defeat, and self-denial. So shielding yourself against these mistruths, from this distortion, from this confusion that has been sent your way, from this mind control, right? You're tightly wrapped around their finger. They wanted to keep you distracted. They wanted to keep you wandering. They wanted to keep you confused in some way. And I was picking up heavily that this energy from your past wanted you to believe that you were your own worst enemy, and that was going to keep you dependent on these connections from your past in some way. It was going to keep you trapped and chained in this victim mentality, but your angels, God, the divine, stepped in and said, no, this is not going to occur, and you were freed, right? You see how this door is open? You could have been somebody who was trapped in a certain situation or a cycle, right? You guys had dryer cycle, repeating cycles. You also had repetitive life path energy, soul lessons showing up. You could have been trapped in a certain cycle on repeat over and over, and at one point you woke up one day in your jail cell, and the door was just open. It was just left open for you. It says the inability to move on due to past trauma, regret, or emotional pain that continues to influence decisions and growth. And I feel like this was really influencing the way that you saw yourself, the way that you saw the world, the way that you saw daily routines, right? And how that contributed to the future and the payback of what you were putting in. We have a lot of self-reflection in your group number 1. You also had shadow work showing up. So God has a way of taking what the enemy works against us and turning it into a blessing. So I feel as though this pain that you have, you were able to alchemize it and use it into this hyper awareness related to shadow work, self-reflection, casting out your inner demons, really reflecting on how you could become the best version of yourself. And this allowed you to level up, to get up, to kind of surpass those around you, right? One of your songs that I was hearing, I actually channeled this song last night as I was cleaning it. I kept hearing, she's so high above me. And then I saw this card cast off right before I started this recording by itself, face down on the floor. I turned it over as I was listening to that song right before we started this message, on top of the world. So people are seeing you for your angelic energy, for that spiritual protection, those gifts that you have. For the first time, people are finally seeing you. And it could be that this blindness that the world had towards you, that distorted not only how they saw you, but how you saw yourself, contributed to this ability to surpass expectations. And even those that had doubted you were there to witness you do the impossible, to see your magic tricks play out, to see just how divinely protected you truly were. Because in that music video, she's got angel wings, she climbs up, she jumps off with this leap of faith. She's able to balance in ways that seem inhuman or unexpected, right? And she jumps into a glass of water that she physically cannot fit into, and yet somehow she's able to complete the impossible. 1331 is a repeating number I'm seeing for your energy, so it could be significant. Whenever I see 1331, this is not one of your songs, but I always think of that song by Green Day, Pretty Fly for a White Guy. And he talks about trying to get the tattoo. He asked for a 13, but they drew a 31. I don't know why that's coming up. But I feel like you're being protected, right, from, I don't know, maybe being a carbon copy of everybody else, especially from where it is that you come from, or from repeating these cycles and these lessons. Maybe you're overcoming actual racism, or I don't know. For all of you, it could be something different. It says this energy moves like a revolving door, bringing back the same struggles, the same choices, the same crossroads until the lesson is finally learned. New faces, new places, yet the pattern remains, whispering of unfinished business. Each return is an invitation to evolve or repeat. Ask yourself, are you truly moving forward or just walking in circles disguised as progress? Develop positive habits to introduce new patterns into your reality. Okay, so this has a lot to do with you fighting the demons, the bigotries of your bloodline. Okay, and this is what you were being protected from. Your houseplants could be protecting you from some of these hits as well. Really being able to see into the soul through the eyes. The window to the soul is something, it's one of your superpowers, because I'm picking up on this window for the dryer. and being able to see the inner workings of some of these cycles, and not even understanding how greatly protected you are, because it feels like you've taken a lot of hits. It feels like you've taken a lot of hits, but it's because you were taking on these energetic battles just by simply seeing truths and seeing situations play out a certain way. And your reputation could have taken a hit in the past. This was your cross to bear, but this injustice is being overturned because you were being protected from these invisible chains, these invisible curses that have been playing out in your bloodline for far too long, is what I heard. We have sweet comforts, soothe your heart, show affection, saving. Wait, what does this say? Savings bring peace, living comfortably, bond security, and resources. So saving up, this could be knowledge, experiences, wisdom. Okay, and this is bringing sweet comfort not only to yourself, but to your future, to your bloodline. I'm also feeling like you were protected from uncomfortable living that was destined for you due to birth, to what you were born into. You were being protected from that by jumping into a whole new timeline, by choosing to see certain uncomfortable truths and confronting them head on, whether you were afraid or not. And this is going to contribute to comfort. The last card that you have here, group number 1, it says cross thresholds. Cross thresholds. Leave your comfort zone. Make the first move. Take time for strategic planning, breakthrough, and level up. Because she's so high. And you're going to be breaking expectations and making believers out of people that would have otherwise been blind. Hi, group number 2. If you've selected the melting mask, this is going to be your reading. Okay, this is a collaboration with my dear friend Queen NightShade. I've attached her video, her link, her channel, so that you can find additional details and channeled messages there. I'm so grateful that she chose to do this collaboration with me, so please go show her lots of love. Number 2, this is going to be your music playlist. You can follow the link, pray on it, set an intention. Whichever music comes up first, whichever song plays first for you could have additional insight. You can listen to the whole list if you'd like. And pay attention to any symbolism in the music videos, as they may have additional oracle messages for you. Okay, I felt like there was this energy, this narcissistic behavior energy in your group that you're being protected from. It could be because you have the burial. They're hiding evidence of their love with this melting face figure. It says melting mask in your card. It says allow your spirit self to shine through many roles you fulfill. And the mask showed up not only multiple times in your cards, but also in the symbolism of the song Silver Lining. The music video had mask showing up there as well. And the whole point of that song is her saying the silver lining of being banished to hell is that she was going to be there with this one particular partner or love interest. Okay, so there's something here about you defeating the cycle and being protected from a lifetime of hell with this energy here. For some of you, I felt like this was an ex, a lover. For some of you, this was a boss. For some of you, this was a step parent. Whoever this was, there was some kind of, for some of you, this was your biological parents as well. And these are all cards that I had pulled. Boss, aggressive sales energy. It says the energy barrels forward, demanding, persuading, cornering until resistance breaks. Whether masked as charm or disguised as urgency, it takes without listening, insists without care. Weaving in and out of your life through anyone, ask yourself, is this fair? Offer, or is this a fair offer, or one that has no foreseeable benefit? If not provided the opportunity to weigh the options, you may be working with an energy that doesn't want you to see your options. Okay, so it could be that there's certain opportunities that are amassed as being beneficial for you, but they're actually taking from you. They're not providing benefit and well-being back to you. And we had step parent. That's why I said step parent. So this intrusive energy that's kind of strong holding you into what feels normal, natural, beneficial, but is actually very toxic to your well-being. And so you were being tricked or manipulated into forfeiting heaven on earth to be with this certain connection. And so I feel like you were being protected from these masks, right? Being able to remove your trust from these energies, because this card here, it says, trusting tricksters. The trickster's only power is your trust. You are always free to withdraw it. Okay, so you were seeing behind the mask, you were seeing the illusion and the deception and how it was keeping you stuck, right? There was a lot of curse energy in your reading, in your cards. There was a lot of separation, exclusion. Let's see, it says ghosting, deserted, left out in the cold, and this deserted energy, this dry, barren, not providing even a drink of water, only so you would be that much more desperate to accept the poison that they were offering you. A tempting invitation leads to heartbreak. So yeah, there were these opportunities that were cloaked, right? That could have contributed to some kind of mixed emotion, mixed messages, mixed ideas, right? But I'm drawn into this. It almost looks like a dove here behind this dark energy that wanted to send these invisible curses your way. Okay, and this taught you hope. This was the hidden lesson. This is how you were protected even in your darkest moments. You were learning stories about faith. You were learning how to hope. And there's, a saying that even the richest people on earth, if they've never learned to hope, that could lead them feeling hopeless. That's why so many people can have all the worldly possessions and still feel depressed, still feel like their life doesn't have meaning. And so through this, you were able to be protected from hopelessness. You were able to want, even in this barren, dark. Look, there's the bird of hope that's flying over you, even in this barren land, in this desert. You were protected because you had faith. You had hope to guide you. You had spiritual influences that made you know that you were not alone, even when you felt completely deserted. Wow. Cold shoulder, exclusion, snubbing, deliberately ignoring, rejected, or disproved, feelings of indifference. And I couldn't help but notice that the song that was playing right after your playlist is Hear Me Through. So I'll probably just add that one to your playlist as well. So yeah, there was a lot of false energy, a lot of masked friends around you, dishonesty, hidden agenda. Okay, but you learned to speak up through this. Some of you could have been documenting it. You could have been physically recording conversations or interactions that you had with this quote-unquote narcissistic energy, according to your cards. Let's see what this card said, actually. The card says, the puppeteer moves in silence, shaping reality with unseen strings. This energy can charm, persuade, or deceive, twisting truth into illusion where it always is the hero, the victim, or the mastermind. That's very interesting that it says that it's always twisting truth into illusion, because you also had burning evidence here. Someone is meticulously erasing traces, destroying proof, and covering tracks to hide the truth, leaving no evidence behind to ensure secrets remain concealed. That's really interesting that you guys have this like tape recording energy. There's also documents down here underneath this woman who's underneath the boss card. Bending wills under the guise of guidance. Ooh, someone could have manipulated an actual will or final will and testament of a relative. Bending wills under the guise of guidance. It feeds on validation, but no amount is ever enough. Step too close and you may find yourself emptied, reduced to a reflection of its needs rather than your own. Are you leading your life, or are you being led? Okay, and that could also be why you had crown energy that showed up in your cards. Okay, it was there. It was in one of your songs. I noticed it as well. And you also had it here under leader. So you're being protected because you're meant to be a leader. You're being protected because you are meant to give this guidance and to shine awareness on where other people have these toxic relationships, these vengeful spirits that are masking themselves as trustworthy allies. You see these like skeleton energies are what's really standing out to me. The restless souls of the departed who return with unresolved anger, desiring revenge or closure through manipulation. And one thing I noticed about you, group number 2, this energy wanted you to doubt your own sanity. They wanted you to doubt your own clarity of mind. And it was because you were speaking out against this masking or this manipulation. Okay, and that was protecting you. That was protecting you from the illusion and from them alienating you from other connections that are meant to either be with you on your journey, be freed by you, by coming into contact with you. Yeah. You're speaking up, and that's allowing other people to move away from this poison, this toxicity around them. I know she said, in one of the songs, she said, I remember when I lost my mind, something about, you made me think I didn't know enough, but I knew too much, right? Does that make me crazy? You have the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups. You're able to see what others are not able to see. You're able to see the attachments, perhaps, that some people have. The restless souls of the departed who return with unresolved anger, desiring revenge or closure through manipulation. Okay, you're able to see, like the cat, see through the dark into the illusions, or, you know, if there's certain connections that are being dishonest. Ace of Cups, your relationships are protected. You chose heaven over hell. Okay, even with all the silver linings that were being provided to you, you knew too much. And you chose self-love and preservation over the manipulation of this energy around you. You're being protected because some of you, they wanted to commit you to a life of insanity. They wanted to commit you to a life where you actually believed that you were unstable. And not only that, they wanted your children to believe the same. Oh, you know, your mother had the same issues. This actually, yeah, I don't remember what position it came out in, but I know you had the energy of children and post-life review. You took a look at some of the experiences in your life and you said, not my child. They are not going to experience the same gaslighting or traumatic experiences. They're not going to have to live this life masking certain emotions or being made to feel responsible for the side effects of living in an unstable world or an unfit environment, right? Rather than trying to medicate it away as being broken or unstable, not only are you protected from that moving forward, but you're protecting your children from the same fate, and you're able to either treat it from a natural or herbalistic viewpoint, okay? Or you were able to just protect them, right? You were here to stop the reign of terror and this war within your bloodline. Okay, and I guess that could be too why this mixed emotions card is showing up, is embracing the good and the bad. You're protected, group 2, by that silver lining, having been to both heaven and hell. You're able to balance your emotions through seeing the good and the bad in every aspect, and knowing that even the heaviest burden, sometimes even the things that have quote-unquote harmed us, can actually lead to a blessing. You've intended to hurt me, but God intended it for good, for what is saving now, for what is happening now, the saving of many lives. Okay, divine timing is at play for you, group number 2. And you may not be able to see all of the spell work that was sent your way, right? We have undetected spell work. Who's doing it? Magic symbols, okay, could be significant for this pile. It says used to influence you negatively, used against you, writing symbols on your name or business. So there were spells sent your way, things that were said about you that you were protected from, that was undetected to your consciousness, but your spirit still picked up on it. So it's being brought to your awareness now. Group 2, any closing messages for group 2? We have intention, okay? And again, just seeing through the mask, allowing it to melt away. This is what you were protected from. Okay, I'm seeing a sphere of protection here. Group 2, what was group 2 protected from? Forgiveness. Okay, an offer. You're being protected through forgiveness, forgiving those that have harmed you, knowing that it helped strengthen your discernment, your intuition, to be able to identify which offers are truly beneficial for you and which are more self-serving. Okay, this is how you're being protected. Group number 2. That season of isolation is actually, you're going to be looking back on it as one of your greatest assets, as it did allow you to strengthen this discernment, this ability to see, this trickster energy. Remember, their power only lies in your trust, and you can remove it at any time. Hi, group number 3. This is going to be your reading for what are you protected from? What were you protected from that you cannot even perceive, okay? This is a collaboration with my dear friend, Queen NightShade. I'm so honored that she is doing this collaboration with me. So I am linking her channel, her video, for additional insight and messages. So go check her out and support her. Group number 3, I had trouble integrating your energy, to be honest. It's kind of dense, and this is just a really heavy situation. I think there was a lot of pain and hardship associated with this particular pile. I'm going to show you your song list here, and you guys can access it through the link. You can hit shuffle and watch any one of these songs, all of them if you'd like. I can tell from these messages that you were protected from fake friends that pretend to be closer to you than they were spiritually intended to be. You're protected, for some of you, you were actually protected from some kind of graveyard magic. I know that sounds like who would go out of their way to do that, but for some of you, there is a element of that here, and for others of you, you were quite literally protected from an early grave. There was an element of death here, whether it was physical or otherwise. This could have been a spiritual death or an emotional one, I guess, related to who you were as a person. And for some of you that may have occurred or taken place, but you are being protected in a sense that you are being resurrected or given a second chance or a new opportunity. There is a Bible scripture that comes to mind, something about God's people will fall 6 times, but they'll get up 7, something like that. Another song that's coming to mind by Cardi B, Get Up 10. Okay, that was a song that was shared to me with me by a friend of mine, so I can go ahead and add that to your playlist as well. But there is this element of kind of like a cat having multiple lives, bouncing back, being raised from the dead. Some of you were faced with a situation that would have quite literally ended you. It could have, just based on the energy that I read in your cards and so forth, there is an element of separating you from a divine counterpart, causing a fork in the road or a change in direction related to a spouse or a partnership, whether this was forcing you into a direction away from this soulmate that you were supposed to have, or if you have an actual connection with somebody, that another connection, a third party, was trying to come in between. Okay, there was a lot of umbrella symbolism in both your music video and your cards here. So umbrellas to me symbolize shelter from emotional turbulence or some kind of turmoil. It can also be a sign of spiritual protection or even faith. Okay, those things come hand in hand with the umbrella. There's also a big element centered around your reading where somebody was trying to offer you some kind of resolution, salvation, make themselves out to be a helper of yours. And this was going to result in some kind of slavery, ownership, hardship, some kind of debt, right? Like they were trying to present themselves to be a saving grace. But I saw God foretold that this path was going to lead you to destruction. So he sent some kind of intervention, some kind of reroute. This could have taken the form of an actual, some kind of disaster here. We have flood and explorer. And I'm seeing here with the flood, the ship just being redirected, right? And guided to a place that was more suitable for you, where God had it destined for you to go. And that this was, at the time, it could have been really devastating to you to experience this reroute or this spiritual death and rebirth as it had taken place, and that it was difficult for you to see, right? I can do this with my eyes closed. It was very difficult for you to see and to have faith at all times. Okay. But I am seeing that this redirection was for your highest good, because there was this element of demise, of death, of decay. We have the graveyard and the decay here. It says, this love is slowly dying. They'll take their love for you to the grave. So I felt like reading your cards and your energy, I felt like there was some kind of third party. I don't know if this was a group or a person, but they were tied to the Jezebel spirit. And the Jezebel spirit, I guess in your reading especially, it does seem to come through in the sense of a sexual nature or some kind of lustful demon that comes through and tries to cause destruction between a home. I see that you were quite literally protected from divorce here, group number 3. There was this Jezebel spirit around you. This could have been taken the form of a female. You had women supporting women in reverse. This could have been some kind of lustful energy in your connection that was trying to cause some kind of misdirection. Here it was trying to cause a death in your love life. And this was because you were granted this partnership in this world to help you, right? We have teamwork here. And I feel like without this other half on this path and this timeline that you're currently in right now, this would have been detrimental to this new life that God had promised you. to your well-being, to your vitality. Okay, so this is why God had to step in. God had to I'm also feeling for some of you, you were granted certain shoes that, I don't know, that you didn't fit into, right? They were never destined for you. There was certain, here, let me show you. I almost threw these cards out of your stack because I felt like I had too much information, but you had karma transfer here, money issues, and then backfire times 10. So I feel like someone may have tried to transfer their karma to you. They may have you may have caught some kind of negative energy from them in some way. I don't want to give you any kind of paranoia where you feel like you can catch bad spirits from hanging out with the wrong people, but I just feel like there was some kind of an attempt at some kind of destiny swap, or like they wanted to take something that was granted to you by God and transfer some of their negative debt, right? This unexpected debt that you had in your cards onto you, but that wasn't destined for you. You could have been protected by houseplants. I keep getting that. There could have been some houseplants that had sacrificed themselves in place of you. That could have taken place. Okay. I do see that you were protected from this third party that wanted to distract your partner or take ownership of something that wasn't yours. For a lot of you, yeah, we have Bounty Hunter, and it came out with Virgo in reverse. And so I felt like this energy, this Jezebel spirit, was quite literally going after your partner. This person could have been going after your routines as well, or your ability to stay organized, or even they could have wanted to push you into mental disarray. They wanted to break you. Some of this third party's intentions had a lot to do with pregnancy. Okay, it could be that this person was plotting to come in between in your marriage in a physical sense and create like their own bloodline or their own I don't know, covenant with this person. Okay, and that's why this is something you were being protected from. Serial ghoster. You could have ghosted several people in this last year is what I'm hearing, and that has a lot to do with the fact that they are not who you think they are. The stranger, they are not who you think they are. So there was some kind of divine intervention that came through and carried you through a direction of change, right? You had change show up in your cards twice. You also had butterfly energy showing up twice, and the pig energy showed up twice. Living large. You are living large now, and it's a fertile time for growth. That could be another reason why you had the pregnancy card showing up. This other party could have been looking at you through envious eyes and seeing you as having too much or being far too fertile for your own good. They didn't appreciate the transformation that they had seen you go through over the last couple of years, and they could have even seen you as greedy, or this person had very greedy and selfish intentions for why they were helping you. And because Spirit was able to see, because God was able to see, they offered you a change, a reroute. For some of you, this could have quite literally been by a natural disaster that you were forced into another direction. For others of you, this had a lot to do with signs, omens, synchronicities, a sudden change in behavior with somebody. This caused you to reevaluate and change your direction. This resulted in a significant rebirth, a second chance at a new life, and an amazing opportunity of transformation for you. Because you were listening to the signs. I could do this with my eyes closed. There may have been a period where you were going through blindness, right? And in the physical world, you were completely crashing. There was destruction all around you. But in the spirit, you were leveling up. You were going through certain tests and initiations to be able to experience a higher way of being is what I heard. So this was a complete death and rebirth moment. Pluto energy, right? And you may have even gone through a period where you felt like your voice was taken from you, like you weren't able to express everything that you were perceiving, and it had a lot to do with your senses going through transformation in itself. All of your senses, both physical and spiritual, were going through certain upgrades and transformations and alchemization is what I'm hearing. So if you went through a weird period, just know that this had a lot to do with the battles that you were fighting in spirit. And when Jezebel shows up, Jezebel to me is a legion of demonic energy that is highly ancient, intelligent, strategic, okay? It's an insatiable energy. You have insatiable here. And it goes after God's prophets. It goes after the people of God that we have self-love here, and tries to destroy them. Sometimes it goes after their safety, their physical safety. Sometimes it goes after their home, right? With this home wrecking energy that Jezebel is known for, right? This person, I see that they could have been a female in your inner circle that wanted to really manipulate your mind, and this was something that you were protected from, group number 3, because they wanted to cause separation in your marriage so they could move in and take that partner for themselves. Because you remember, you have that umbrella energy, and they're out in the rain, they're out in the cold, they're like this wet rat that's looking at your umbrellas like, hey, why not cover me? Why not cover me with some of that faith? Why not extend some of that emotional stability and protection my way? But they had ill intention, and it was going to interfere with this mission that God had for you. Okay, this person could have plotted to put certain things in your food. This could be somebody, it says, a sense of home and comfort, putting intentions and energy into food, drinks, and desserts, and works with hearth spirits. I saw that this person had ill intentions about controlling your home, really keeping you in a state of instability and not being able to rest, and controlling your workload and making you feel overburdened and overworked to the point where they could come in with these lust spells and cause interference in your actual relationship. So if you had experienced some kind of sudden reroute or divine intervention, okay, there's choices here. You had choices a few times showing up in your cards. This has a lot to do with you being protected. Okay, you becoming independent in these choices that you're being allowed to make. You were protected from this friend that was wanting to hold on to you energetically, leech off of you, drain you, use you, and put you in this, what was it called? Housework is showing up to me really hard. Indentured servitude. They used to offer, rides on the ships to America in return for labor, and that would cause servitude for someone to become a slave just for the promise of this transportation into this new life, right? And so I'm seeing that this is what you were being protected from. Oh, look, my card just hit the floor and it said hostile. It moved into this position of hostility, resisting change, displaying jealousy, antagonistic demeanor, and creates a hostile environment. I see you being protected from this quote-unquote friend. I just saw 333. That was going to be creating a hostile environment, and this person could have even maybe threatened your safety in some way, or your freedom with this police officer card. It says, sworn to protect but drunk on power, they remind you that justice is not always fair and authority is not always righteous, either through intimidation, injustice, or abuse of power. The lesson was clear. Discernment is survival, and not all who wear a badge serve with integrity. So this person may have sworn to protect you, but actually turned hostile on you and planned on using that power against you to force you into a position of submission. Yeah. So this is what you were protected from. You were protected from this excessive force, this rival energy that wanted to not only trap you, but take the love that God had granted to you. They wanted to take your peace of mind. They wanted to take your rest from you. And they wanted to leave you with hostility. But God said no. Okay, this is what you were protected from. And I see that because of this energy where this person wanted to create this imbalance in this new life that God had promised you and put you in this area of no other choice, I see that that has backfired in a way where this person is having to rely on heavy vices. Okay. Also, there's some kind of intuition block. There's something hidden that God has chosen not to warn them about. Maybe before they would have gotten a dream. We're here. They're having to deal with some kind of heavy karma centered around wanting to cause a division between these two people, these soulmates that God had put together. Okay. Yeah, wanting to attract that for themselves, even if it resulted in one of God's children having this severe heartbreak that would have thrown off fate, right? It would have thrown off the stability for the one, right? This counterpart. So, okay, I think that that's your message. Yeah. If you're feeling like there was a flood in your life, know that it had a lot to do with cleaning up these energies that had no business being around you. There was something that you weren't able to see, but God is now granting you rest. Okay, this is your reward, again, with these houseplants. So take really good care of these houseplants, because these houseplants, group 3, they are taking care of you. Hi, group number 4. This is going to be your message. What were you protected from? This is a collaboration with Queen NightShade. I have provided her link, her video, for you to go check out her video and her guidance. And if you come from her channel, welcome. Thank you. I'm so grateful you're here. Pile number 4. This is going to be a message about faith, friendship. Okay. Failing is what I heard. So what were you protected from? You have animal friends, loyalty, companionship, and hostile enemies. So you could be able to identify hostile enemies through animal companionship, familiars, or signs related to animals. I think that's actually how I met Queen NightShade. It was around that time that she shared with me that you can identify hostile enemies through asking God to show you, Spirit to show you a sign related to which enemies are around you, and show me a certain specific animal, so within a certain time frame, and it actually works. So I remember her teaching me that. I was super grateful, and I'm just super grateful that she was kind to me in some of my lowest moments. And this message is about Pile 4 being protected from your breaking moment through friendship, companionship, faith. Okay, you have Enchanted Forest here, Enlightenment, Spiritual Adventure, and Bewilderment. You had Witchy showed up in your cards, Mama Dearest, Magical. Okay, so a lot of magical energy. This could be mother-daughter energy as well. Best friend energy was showing up in your songs. I don't know where my songs are, so you're just gonna have to check out the link. But there was something about Unicorn, purity, benevolence, danger, warnings. Yeah. Certain signs really standing out to you and protecting you from pathways or connections that were never intended for you. Neglecting children's needs, criticizing others and their life decisions, overly focused on looks. This could actually be you being protected from certain mother connections, maternal figures in your life. Okay, you being protected from somebody who has an overbearing or overprotective, intrusive energy towards you. This could be your magic was protected, your spell work was protected, your faith was protected from outside influences that wanted to distort it in some way. There was a strong energy of control in your music and in your cards about releasing control, letting go, and letting God, allowing God to work in your life. For me, God recommends that I work with herbs, crystals, affirmations, spell work, but only in a sense that, how do I explain this? So I'm allowed to have my own will and enforce that if I want to, but it's outside of God's will at that point. And God gives me the free will to choose that because God loves me enough to give me that freedom of choice. But at the same time, God's way is always better. And so for me, at least, God has shown me situations that have unfolded in my life that I wanted to take control because I could see certain misfortune unfolding long before it came, right? And the silent influence here. One of the songs that was in your playlist, I took it out right before I started this reading, and it talked about silence. I'm going to put it back in. I think it was called Flood of Silence. Unseen and unnoticed energy manipulation that affects someone's decisions, emotions, and actions. Yeah, so one of the songs when these cards came out was saying, F being a princess, I want to be a witch. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with certain practices or rituals. I think that God more so wants us to release or choose to give that control over, at least in our darkest moments and those moments where we truly don't know what to do. God created so many birds, fish, and flowers, right? You have flowers in your energy. So many different flowers that I feel, in my experience at least, it's not limited to just one type of spiritual work or one type of spiritual work or practice, right? It says prosperity. You thrive easily at work. A fulfilling career is near. Nature, landscaper, science, artist, and finance. For me, I found messages that were essential but broken up into pieces. I don't know if you can see these women. They're working with a puzzle piece. They're putting a puzzle together, and each one of them holds the key to an answer. And sometimes God will lead me to a sign just so that I know to listen to a piece of information that another person has for me, right? They have a missing piece of the puzzle, and they could come from many different walks of faith. And God has shown me that there's not just one true religion, but that the message, especially of something as sacred as the Bible, is often distorted and twisted to mean something else. And witchcraft, as it's been translated to me in conversations I personally have had with God, comes up in the song Unholy War, where the man pursuing, or the entity pursuing the man and his child, has the face, it's scarred with fire. It's a burn on his face. And to me, it reflects into the Bible scripture of passing our children through the fire. And to me, that has a lot to do with certain timelines that we have access to choice and the freedom to go one direction or another. And how if we choose to enforce our will, sometimes it causes us to work harder or go down pathways that were not intended for us. And other times when we let God choose for us through commitment, surrender, prayer, sacrifice, sometimes these blessings manifest in forms of protection, right? And if you chose that pathway to allow God to have that control and influence over your life, there's certain things that you didn't recognize that you were protected from. There's also something here about testimony where, how can I explain this? So one of your songs that came up was Just Chill. And personally, I have been in prayer recently about telling God, okay, you've been in control long enough. I'd like to take ownership and do these projects that I know will create prosperity in a quick way, in a way that I can control, right? And at that time, God had been telling me a lot, you're moving like an orphan instead of a daughter of God. That song had come on right immediately, like right in the middle of my prayer. 24 hours later, a Christmas tree, lights, and ornament were delivered. A couple days after that, a whole bunch of gifts were provided to me by the local police department, actually. And what else? The church provided probably, it was about 2 weeks, maybe more, worth of groceries to me. What else happened? Snow tires were provided 1 hour before our first snow. It was miraculous. Everything that was, I know I'm forgetting things, but it was just so many things were provided. Christmas miracles were provided. And in fact, in that song, she's pleading out to God, please. It's January 1st, Thursday the 1st, and I know that January New Year's is in a few days from the time that I'm filming this, and it is on a Thursday this year, so I felt like that applied. She's saying, I only have so much money, and how am I going to make it work? How am I going to make it stretch? And it's in these times of despair that God provides miracles and blessings to you, not just to provide as reprieve for you and your situation, but also to be prophetic in a way that your testimony ripples through time. And if you think of the prophets in the Bible as being timeless and their stories carry through with lessons that are meant to touch us centuries later, what is it about your story that's meant to ripple through time and touch the lives of the people around you? If not now, then maybe later. If not now, maybe in the past. Something about your energy is timeless. Okay. So prophecy, it's not just the future. It's all timelines, and being able to see them simultaneously and to see the wealth in the wisdom that lies there, how to use it to relate to other stories. Okay, is coming through. Supreme power, wealth, arrogance. And then the witch is intelligence, psychic power, and destruction. Yeah. So there is something about piety, right? And not being prideful in your piety, and not expecting that because you walk a pathway, a holy pathway, or one that's close to God, or that you allow God to pave your way or to make decisions on your behalf, to not become arrogant and thinking that that means you're not going to suffer. And on the flip side of the witch here, it says, you have this intelligence and you get to have this ownership and this psychic power, this sovereignty in your power. But on the flip side of that is this destruction of, at least for me, in a conversation that I had with God, and when it comes to money, especially when I want to be my own God in relation to prosperity and how I make money and take care of my children and the future that I believe my children should have. God has expressed to me that I have a choice to surrender that future, to put it in the hands of God, and to allow a better future to come into play where I don't have to work as hard for certain blessings or wealth to come in. Certain things are just magically paid for on God's time, right? How can I explain this? Spirit said I'm doing okay. I'm okay explaining it. So yeah, there's something here about the destruction that we create in our own lives, trying to have that control. And yes, we can reach our end goal, but at a harder pace through certain challenges that maybe God didn't intend for us on our path. I do see community, friendship, and sisterhood here for you. Relationships that you truly can trust. You have filthy here and cleansed. And in your song, she was saying, dirt on you is dirt on me. We're in this together. So there's something about not holding your tongue. Not holding your tongue or being silent when flooded with this information that could be beneficial on some timeline, in some story, in some prophetic future that is not from your will but from His. And let's see if there's any other messages. Anything else Group 4 is being protected from? I'm so sorry, please forgive me. Ooh, sewer maiden energy. Yeah, so passing our children through the fire with this same... Okay, I'm just going to tell you. Wait, should I? Okay, I'm just going to tell you. I was thinking I should make money, whether it be through a romance-centered channel, which sometimes can get more attention, right? Or whether it be through more risque means that may cause my energy to become more dirty, right? We have sewer maiden here. And possibly not looking far enough into the future about how that could translate into lessons for my own daughters, right? And how our children see what is beneficial for making money, spiritual practices, values and virtues and morals, right? That we may feel comfortable sacrificing in the present timeline, but not understanding or underestimating how that ripples through time to affect others on our dream team. Dirt on me is dirt on you. Dirt on you is dirt on me. So there's something here about, I don't know, keeping your energy clean, not just for yourself, but for others. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. God thinks all flowers are beautiful, whether they're wildflowers, exotic flowers, rare flowers. Okay, so whatever it is that you've done in the past or the beliefs that you've had in the past, at any point, you're welcome to change your mind, to have forgiveness for yourself and for others. Let's see, what else is here? The fate of Ophelia, right? She was gathering flowers and she met her untimely demise. So there's something here about certain connections coming in with blessings at the most opportune time, is what I heard. Group 4. What is Group 4 protected from? I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot. We have spiritual gifts. Healing, prophecy, discernment, wisdom, visionary, intercession, okay? Being able to pray on behalf of others, intercede in the spiritual when you're given visions and prophetic dreams that you don't know what to do with. You don't know how to reach certain connections, okay? And also being mindful of the lessons that spiritually are passed on to the next generation with the broken child card here. Let's see, I want to get you something from the Golden Opportunity Oracle. Anything else? Inspiration. Inspiring others with your testimony. Hold on a sec. Inspiring others with your testimony. I actually have a dog card here on the top of the deck, and it says loyal, reliable support, unconditional love, protected and faithful, steadfast companionship. Okay, so there's reliable support, whether it be in spirit or physically around you here on earth, and it's inspiring to others. It could be inspiring faith in people that would otherwise be losing faith, and that would affect not only themselves but the children around them. Transition, job ending and a fresh start, renewed sense of purpose. Okay. And you also have spotlight here, so it could be if there was an ending in your life, it could be inspiring this new spotlight position, where your visions are really seen in the light that they were intended, not twisted or distorted in any way. Driver's seat, in a position of authority, making good progress. I think in one of your songs it says, you know, God take the wheel. Okay, we have free-flowing, chart your own course, enjoy the abundance. We have run out of time, but I noticed right as the recording ended, it says water, ocean related, and I think in one of your songs it talks about shadows on the ocean floor. Yeah. Of course, it was a song that I tried to remove because I'm trying to have control over this. Dang it, it's gone on long enough, in my opinion, in my human perspective and my strategy. I want it to be a certain timeline, right? But I almost forgot about this Facebook post I saw where there was this humpback whale that was hugging a scuba diver to protect them from a shark that was, I was going to say driving by, swimming by. Look, leadership, and it looks just like that prosperity sunflower. Oh my gosh, now my dog wants to come back in. Hold on a second. I don't know why I keep thinking of that song by Dolly Parton, Wildflowers. Okay, so you could be somebody who felt like you just never fit in. And so you feel like, I don't know, maybe you feel like you have to reject God before he rejects you. But there's something about being made to grow wherever it is that your seeds land, wherever your roots land. And sunflowers themselves, they detox soil of impurities, right? Or radioactive impurities that stunt new growth. So it could be that you're planted in certain environments and communities to detox out certain poisons or things that would stop somebody on their spiritual path or a bloodline from prospering or growing in a certain way. Okay, so success, savor your career journey, get a taste of the good life, chef, baker, food service, event coordinator. So you could be being protected. Look, flourish. You could be being protected. Didn't I say failure in the beginning of this message? Alchemy, harness your inner power, evolve a new perspective. Anyways, is that the message? Are we done? Is that the end of the message? Let's get you some closing. Group 4, any closing messages about what Group 4 is protected from? We have the Magician. I feel like you're being protected from rumors about what magic truly is. Your magic is being protected so that you can harness it in the most powerful and prosperous way. Yeah, Six of Swords. Moving on. New horizons. Leaving drama behind. Goodbye toxic energy. That's what it says. You've got the sunflower energy because you're here to detox out the toxic energy. Goodbye toxic energy. That's crazy. Yeah. So that's what you're protected from. You're being protected from too many responsibilities and having to work outside your pay scale. Okay, with this Ten of Wands, being burdened, carrying the weight of everything and needing a break. Oh my gosh, one of your songs talks about you deserve that peace, to give God that freedom to take strategy over your life. Pay attention to those animal signs, okay? They're going to reveal certain hidden truths that could otherwise be painful, otherwise be fatal to you. Painful endings, betrayal, rock bottom. That was a disaster, but I will rise again. You'll always rise again, especially when you have God working for you on your side, on your team. Okay, no tower moment is going to be able to hold you back, because even you're going to be so in alignment with God's will that even disaster feels like a blessing. Okay, even disaster feels like a blessing with the Wheel of Fortune here. Your whimsy and your dreamer attitude is protecting you. It's working in your favor. Okay, and I know this message is too long, but your strength is protected. And that's all I have. Thank you.